February 1791. Okay? But, for whatever reason, Kentucky had to wait. But Kentucky was still a state. So everyone, forget about that. The Department of State in 1894 is not even asking about Kentucky. So I'm thinking like, geez, there's Massachusetts, Georgia, Connecticut, and Kentucky. There's 4 states. Now, according to the popular standard, 11 of 13 is required. Now, I'll give you a quick math lesson. Very, very simple. 3/4 of 13, okay, I'm sorry, 3/4 of 14 is 10.5. Now, is 10.5 11, or is it 10? And who makes that call? Now, before proceeding, I'll tell you something that's going to throw another wrinkle into this whole thing. Thomas Jefferson is on record as viewing 10.5 as 10. He was the Secretary of State. George Washington is on record as, and that's because Thomas Jefferson's theory of numbers was truncation. You know, we're taught in school, oh, if it's 0.5, you round up, you round down. His theory was, if it's a fractional number, until you get to the next whole, you disregard it. And in fact, there's books, to those that are in the know and pay attention, written about Thomas Jefferson and his theories of math. Here's one right here. Only people like me read it. Only people like me know how to find it. And I'm not passing this around because this will put you to sleep just by holding it. But it is true nonetheless. It doesn't make it any less true. So, and the reason for that is, in a letter to General Armstrong in Pennsylvania, during the debates, there were 13 states, and Washington said to Armstrong, it should be remembered that, you know, we can amend the Constitution with the affirmative vote of 9 states. Now, 13 states, 3/4 is 9.75. So Washington believed 9.75 because he followed Jefferson's theory, which was truncation. And I'm going to pass around a letter in a minute when I get to that part of the story where Jefferson is on record as saying 10.5 is 10. And then when I found that letter, I'm like, oh my God. Because Jefferson said 10 of 14 is 3/4. And he's on record. And his chart said 10 states ratified Article the First. Now, Jefferson, again, not a dumb guy. So, is it possible, and it's the truth, he did, Jefferson believed Article the First was ratified. And if you know the numbers again, once again, basic math, if you realize you have the correct numbers, not the ones Schwartz tells you, the real deal, 6 states had ratified Article the Second. 10 states had ratified Article the First. Why did Thomas Jefferson pick that time to have those amendments, you know, the ratification documents printed and sent to the states? And I'll tell you why. It's simple math. The process was effectively over, and let me tell you why. Okay? Kentucky was the 15th state. Vermont was the 14th state. Okay? And with 15 states, 3/4 is 11.25. Okay? Let me tell you why he reported at that time and sent out that handout that I passed out. Because he believed 10 of 14 was 3/4. And you had that. Article the First was ratified. The other amendments had 1 in excess. And Article the Second only had 6, with 3 states left to report. Connecticut, Georgia, and Massachusetts. With only 6 states ratifying Article the Second, even if they all ratified, that only gets you to 9. When Kentucky becomes a state, true Kentucky could ratify, but Kentucky changes the standard from 10.5 to 11.25, which then makes it 11. Which means, if you have the real facts, the reason why Jefferson sent that out when he did is because he knew the process was statistically over. Why did he pick that epic time? Because he knew that Article the Second couldn't be ratified, even if all the other reporting states ratified it. You would still be chasing the one. You couldn't make it. But Article the First was ratified. That's under Jefferson's theory. And it gets worse. It gets worse. Let me cut to the chase. Kentucky officially becomes a state June 1st, 1792. On June 24th, 1792, the Kentucky legislature, I'm going to pass it, don't take my word for it. Here's the printed version. And here's the actual handwritten version, both of which I have in certified form from the Kentucky Secretary of State. On June 24th, 1792, Kentucky, who's not even on this chart, because again, you have to understand, see how B is here? This chart was obviously started by Jefferson or whoever at a time when Vermont wasn't even a state. And they didn't put anything here because this blank line, because they went north to south, that's Connecticut. I'm sorry, that's Massachusetts, blank. Connecticut, blank. Georgia, the furthest southern state, blank. But he didn't care because it was over. They didn't ask Kentucky because according to Jefferson at the time, he understood that the amendments were ratified. He didn't care. And it wouldn't be an issue for many, many years because, quite frankly, with the way Article the First was written, you wouldn't really get to any major changes for like another 50 years when everyone was dead and forgot about it. I wish I was joking. So I'm going to pass around. This is the printed version. And I have to digress for a second. Because again, just like we don't like to talk about slavery, we don't like to talk about the War of 1812. That's because we lost. Okay? They beat us up, burned our capital, and kicked our butts. But with the Treaty of Ghent, it ended. And quite frankly, it's my firm belief, notwithstanding what you're taught in school and college, that the revolution and the fight with England really did not end until 1816 with the Treaty of Ghent. That's my view, and that's not what I'm here to talk about tonight. But the statute book, because this hand-engrossed copy, the official copy of the laws kept in Kentucky, okay, that there's only one copy. And in 1809, this was printed confirming that that was the case, that in fact they ratified. So in 1792, it was done. When they printed a law book in 1809, it was published and put in print.
So did they ratify all of them?
All 12.
All
You're going to
12.
see it yourself. I'm going to pass around in a second.
What was the second one?
It had to do with congressional pay raises, which was ratified in 1992. I'll get to that part of the story. Trust me. I hope I'm not boring you, because if you're paying attention, this will change the country. I might be crazy, but I ain't wrong.